They didn't go.
Where's this town?
Sean would never have left.
It was a whorehouse.
I want to be that hero.
And they did get paid, but they got paid in services.
You said it all right there. They helped the town of hookers and didn't come. I mean, it was right there.
I know that's why
Town
I
of
paused.
hookers. Where that's an
But they
interesting
didn't
currency.
go. They didn't go to that planet, to that town, to save those hookers. That just happened. Like,
I think that is why they went there. I think they were called there specifically
they went
for
there
that
because
purpose.
Inara said, "Hey, we have to go there."
Yes.
They were
But
called to help.
Inara
They
was
went-
making that choice, not Mal.
That's right. I always look at Malcolm Reynolds as George Washington if he'd lost the war.
A patriot for
see
the
where
side
you
that
are.
lost.
Right.
George Washington is the only person in history that led a popular rebellion that won and voluntarily walked away from power. He was not.
Yeah.
He was
didn't
not
want to be
ousted.
president.
He was not told they wanted to crown him king, and he said no.
Yeah. No.
Right. I mean, that's never happened in history.
No.
So,
He was like, you want to put me in charge? Yes, thank you.
and as good as he is, he owned slaves.
Yeah.
You know, so
because
slaves
of
wasn't
that
looked on
time,
as
right, sure, absolutely, but it's
That's why these concepts are so gray.
But and I think that just kind of goes back to the, to get back to the thing is like, it depends, I think, also on how much power does the individual character have. If you've got, it's absolute power absolutely corrupts.
Right.
If you are a minor character, you're running around, you've got a chance to do some good, it's not going to cost you anything, you'll probably do it. But
It's easy to be a good low-level schmo
right.
as opposed to
A benevolent lord.
a benevolent 20th level lord of God only knows how much.
Especially
You come in playing a character that Deuce has created, and you're just wiping people out left and right. It's-
Well, you can be a good death machine.
That's right. That's right.
Dr. Manhattan.
That's right.
until somebody pisses you off, and then the first person that pisses you off, you're just going to take them out.
Yep, and that's the patience of it. You have to not go with your base instincts.
okay. Well, every movie bad guy, or every movie good guy rather. John McClane.
Okay.
John McClane, good guy. I think everyone would agree, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But he kills a lot of motherfuckers, doesn't he?
Using John McClane as an example, he also, he has a shit personal life.
Yeah.
His coworkers hate him.
Yeah.
He's constantly drunk.
I think that's also just the way Bruce Willis lives his life.
Well, that's probably
It
true.
was autobiographical.
But still, he's a good guy, and he's a good guy that has to kill people. I mean, what's he supposed to do? Hit him over the head with a Nerf bat? And
Well, no, but I'm just saying it depends on your definition. What are you defining as a good guy? Is it a good guy in every single aspect of their life, or just in that one situation?
That's a good point.
Well, we're not talking good. We're talking heroes.
Right.
Yeah.
He's definitely a hero. He's
And he's-
maybe not necessarily a good
And
guy.
what he's doing that the other people in the Nakatomi building were doing is he was risking his life.
Right.
It's true.
Right.
yeah, I mean, the guys that, firefighters that run into a burning building, they're not just doing that because they get paid.
They're doing it because they're nuts.
Right.
Well-
but I mean, and nobody would take away from a firefighter saying that they are not heroes.
Sure. No.
But there are people who are firefighters who beat their wives.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say,
do things that are not good, but no one would ever take that away from them. And I think what Mike's saying and what Dave's saying is the hero is defined by his actions.
Well, I was just about to say, I think maybe we've approached this entire topic incorrectly because hero is derivative of heroic. What is a heroic action? It's overcoming great odds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just
Insurmountable odds. It has nothing to do with your philosophical outlook.
So someone completely evil could be a hero.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
can
by
be mean.
accident. Totally by accident. But that's-
Oops, I tripped in.
It's like I was just thinking. It's like
Save the world.
Every award for heroism that's given out, and it's the military, police forces, whatever. You have to do something. I mean, nobody joins the army and then goes to Afghanistan or wherever, and then I was like, well, that guy's going to get the CMH. So go get your CMH. No, you've got to go do something, and then somebody says, usually posthumously, that was awesome. We're going to give you a CMH. That's a Congressional Medal of Honor for anybody who doesn't know what the CMH is.
well, I was going to say, most of these guys are overseas right now fighting a war. They're all heroes.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of the guys that's done that. Biggest cokeheads you'll meet. But
I don't think doing cocaine necessarily means you're evil.
but I'm just saying,
All right.
Sometimes it makes you able to do more heroic shit.
they're looked at
Batman
as,
might disagree
hero.
when he breaks up the crack house.
they're looked at as heroes. They don't know what they do in their off time.
You know what? And that's funny is people are very quick to give somebody they're a hero title, And people who are heroes generally don't think of themselves as such.
Right. I was just doing what I had to do.
Had to do at the time. You know,
Doing what they had to do at the time.
you want to give me a medal? No, give the guy over here that gave his life. Give him the medal. I don't need it.
Going back to the John McClane thing that Jason said earlier, and every single one, and he just keeps on going on these awful vacations.
The last one was terrible, by the way. Don't anybody go see it.
I already saw it.
Don't. Sorry.
Line in the sand.
Don't even reference it.
Anyway, like every time he's not going in to save the day, he's just kind of like, oh, like I have to do this
because
no one else will, no one else can. Like I can do this, so I have to. Like I'm obligated to because of my abilities.
I just watched the Jack Reacher movie last week. It's pretty good. Tom Cruise plays Jack Reacher, who's supposed to be like almost 7 feet tall. Which, that in itself is a bit weird.
It's called movie magic, Mark.
Right.
Come on, Mark. Suspend your disbelief.
However, in the course of the movie, he shows up to, I don't want to give too much of it away, but the point is, the Jack Reacher is supposed to be the guy that is like, he's not going to follow the law. He's going to do what's right no matter what that is. So many times during the movie, he's just like, I'm all right, I'm just going to go home. But then he doesn't.
I was going to say, this sounds like a boring movie.
Right.
You might as well spoil that because I ain't seen it.
I'm going to do what's right, but I'm just going to go home. Wait a minute, what?
I got
Roll
cupcakes in the oven.
Right.
Cupcakes.
So to kind of refute the entire first half of our episode,
Right.
is heroics, being a hero, has nothing to do with your alignment, quote unquote,
Or your class.
or your class, or any of this.
Right.
That's why we play the games, because we are put into these scenarios that we are not put into in our real life.
Right.
Good, evil doesn't matter. It's because these are larger. I mean, we can't go out and slay a bunch of orcs.
Right. And from the orc's perspective, you're a genocidal maniac.
This is a good point.
Right.
Again, because it's all a point of view.
Evil is a point of view. I've heard that somewhere before.
Yeah, from your own mouth. But
Yeah, a lawful good character might not be necessarily heroic. They might just be on some kind of ridiculous quest of their own making that no one else would give a care about. They're not really doing anything heroic per se, and you know what I'm saying. Like
okay, so I'm gonna take this for a second. Okay, along your lines. So your alignment comes into heroics as being so if you're lawful good, you're going to do something quote unquote heroic because you're obligated to. It's your sense of obligation. If you're evil and you do something heroic, it's probably because you're doing it for yourself.
I was just thinking of a similar
Right.
situation.
Okay, so what if you're doing these heroic things, but you're doing them so dastardly? What if you have to slay thousands of children? Well, you don't have to, but you go ahead and
do it for
slay.
fun.
But you want to.
You go ahead and slay thousands of like children and kittens.
Kittens.
I would never slay
Yeah.
a kitten.
I know
Kids,
it's not that
yes.
big a leap for you, but that's a really big leap. All right.
No, they're basically the same. Like, what if you go out of your way to, while you're doing this, you also take out this village orphan kids?
Wow. Just making it worse.
So okay, let's bring it back to Star Wars for a second.
Actually, let me bring it back to Firefly.
Firefly.
Oh, shit. Malcolm Reynolds never killed no
Janetown.
Jamestown.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
He accidentally became a hero.
Accidentally became a hero because he botched
A robbery.
a heist, and became this hero of this because
That would be Canton.
yes.
Canton Town.
A hero of Canton.
New Canton.
But that's what you're talking about. He was doing something for himself, but accidentally became a hero.
Right.
Well, that's not quite what I was talking about.
Think about the
Yes, it is.
younglings. Like, did Anakin really have to kill the younglings? No,
I
he
don't
really
think he did.
didn't.
Not at all.
I don't think he did.
But he did anyway.
He did it off screen.
That's more what I was talking about.
That's poor character development's what that is.
Here we go again.
Right. Like, we haven't made this guy bad on camera enough, so we're just going to have him kill some kids.
Right.
And that's really bad. So
Right.
people
Well,
just
okay.
buy
Well,
it.
let's go a
thing
different
is,
direction. What if
he had killed a dog, people would have reacted in a totally different way.
It's true.
well, anytime you
That's why
kill an
I threw
animal
in-
on screen, it's always bad.
That's why I threw in kittens.
Let's say you've got a villain, an outright bastard villain, who throughout the entire thing has just been bad, and then the last 5 minutes decides, you know what, I'm going to do something for somebody else, and he sacrifices his life.
It's like Snape, right?
Does he become a hero?
Snape was
Snape
never
was
bad.
never Snape was never a bad guy.
Yay!
But the perception of him was that he was.
exactly.
Right.
That's what all this stuff is. It's all
But-
about
He was just
perception.
morose.
morose.
It wasn't really that Snape was a bad guy. It's just that he was a little bit of a jerk. It wasn't for
spoilers, by the way. Sorry.
That's right.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Whatever. The last movie came out like 2 years ago, and the books have been out for 8,000 years. Learn how to read.
Well, what was the character in the last Torchwood series we watched?
Which one?
The president from Independence Day.
Oh, Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman. And it's
Just Bill Pullman.
yes.
Bill Palsy? What?
Spoilers, not to ruin it, but he plays a child rapist murderer throughout the whole thing. He is just an absolute son of a bitch, and at the very end,
He's two sons.
turns around and does something good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You go,
Not good enough, in my opinion.
Right.
Well, it's my Jamie Lannister theory. Like, despite all the things that he does after he pushes a child out of a window, he's still in my opinion, he's still always going to be a bad, evil character
I agree.
because he pushed a kid out of a window.
I call that the Hound theory. That's my personal, because of course I prefer the Hound than
For the Hound. Well, I mean, yeah, it's totally understandable, but you know.
Now,
Well, and as Jamie Lannister said, as he was pushing him out the window, the things I do for love. He was doing that to protect the woman that he loved, which also happens to be his sister.
And he's also saving his own ass too.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
maybe.
You know.
But mostly I think it was for Cersei. But nonetheless, it is evil and it's vile and it's disgusting. Does he make up for it later on? Or had, according to his own background, he's already a misunderstood character. You know, they call him the Kingslayer, but they forget that he saved King's Landing, you know?
Sure.
Or they're unaware that he saved King's Landing. Spoiler alert.
I think the big onus of heroics is, what have you done for me lately?
Sure.
If
I
you
thought that was
you
a Shaka Khan
you
song.
no, that was Janet Jackson,
Oh.
and
Same thing.
it was. But seriously, you do something, and then you do something. You could be the most altruistic guy in the world, and you do something wrong, and then all of a sudden you're painted as being wrong until you do something to redeem yourself.
what you really need to do if you're going to be a hero, just do like one heroic thing and then lay
Retire.
low.
And then
And
milk
it
it.
doesn't
Milk
yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's like if Superman were to just laser the kitten out of the tree instead of, fly up and pull
People
him
would
down.
remember that. That's what would be reported on the news.
Yeah.
You mean laser the kitten is like disintegrate it?
Yes.
Wow.
What? You're killing the kitten?
No, I mean, it's like laser through the branch.
Laser through the branch. Yeah.
Going to your who somebody brought up, I think it was Mark brought up, you kill a dog and people react worse than if you kill
Oh, yeah.
people.
Was American Psycho.
That's exactly the reference I was going to make. My sister
haven't seen that
watched
movie.
American Psycho up until the point where he kills the dog, then she shut it off.
Yep.
You can mutilate and destroy people in a most horrendous
He
way.
takes like 10 minutes to kill that homeless guy, and then he kicks a dog to death. And that's where people draw the line.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like 3 kicks even. It's not even like the most drawn out thing, and it's off screen. Like you don't see the dog getting kicked. You just see him
Right.
miming a kicking
effect.
motion and
But-
sound effects.
Well, and we're Americans, and we have a different outlook on these things.
Right.
There are other places in the world who wouldn't care less.
Bat
about
an
that.
eye.
In,
That's him preparing lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the show Community, the main character gives a spiel about, if I tell you this pencil's name is Steve, and then breaks it, and everyone's like, oh! Because the pencil has a name, and they're so sad the pencil got broken.
But it's very appropriate.
It is.
Yeah.
What have we learned today, Eric?
What we've learned is
We have
that-
no idea what a hero is.
Well, and that's a very good point, Sean.
It took us a while to
You
get
don't
to it.
necessarily have to
We
draw
have
a
no
conclusion.
clue.
That's a very good point. I think that the term hero is overused and not necessarily appropriately used.
Right.
Bankrupt of value in today's society.
Well, it's a buzzword. It's turned into a buzzword.
And you definitely can't call yourself a hero.
No,
No.
no. It's like calling yourself a genius.
And no one at this table can play a paladin.
Well, we've
Not well.
Not well.
but it has. We've been talking about it for
I'm gonna
quite
do
some
it.
time.
There's an
I'm gonna
aspect
play a
of it
paladin.
that we haven't
You
talked
couldn't
about.
play with our group then.
What's that?
It's also a pretty wicked good sandwich.
That's right.
I disagree with Sean. He says
Yeah?
none of us know how to play heroes. I disagree. I think plenty of us have played heroes.
She said paladin.
Paladin.
No, I said paladins.
No, before that, you said none of us
No,
Know
what
what a hero is.
No,
I
Oh.
disagree with that. I think plenty of us have played heroes before. I don't think it's really.
I think the
that much of a
conclusion is
stretch.
probably closer to the term hero is flexible depending on the situation.
It's
I
just
was
too
going to say,
vague.
none of us can define hero.
I think when you talk about a hero, when you talk about a good character, air quotes, people seem to automatically attribute the fact that whoever this guy is, he's probably a nice guy or gal. The thing is, you could be a dick and still do heroic things.
Right.
Yeah,
Sure.
When I was playing Sebastian Kane in the Hero High game, he was a hero. He was a dick.
He was emo, not a dick. It's different.
Well, we just said that
He was
about
ornery.
Snape. Like Snape was a
that's a
hero. He
broken
was
record.
a jerk.
Well,
he was
emo too.
emo too.
I
He
think
was Trent Reznor's dad.
I played Allison in the Hero High game.